Hi, everybody. We're going to talk about fallacies today. And so we're going to look at living in the media age. So here's some facts. We are constantly bombarded with information from the media. Our opinions are often based on this information. More often than not, the information we receive is designed less to inform us than to convince us of something that may or may not be true. So basically the information is biased. So if you listen to any news or elections that come up, maybe companies fighting against each other, they're always trying to put more information out. So consequently, it's important that we be equipped with an understanding of the ways in which people try to manipulate our views. So this lesson is designed to help you better navigate the media intelligently and to provide a foundation for the critical thinking and quantitative reasoning.
All right, so first up, the concept of the logical argument. So just a few kind of keywords first. So logic is the study of methods and principles of reasoning. So it's just how to reason correctly, essentially. An argument is a set of facts or assumptions called premises that support a conclusion. So the premises are the assumptions that you start with. Conclusion is what you draw from those premises, right? So for example, considering that there have been 7 accidents at the intersection this year, it's time to install a stoplight at the intersection, all right? So the premise is there's been 7 accidents at the intersection this year. So you start with, so your conclusion is it's time to install a stoplight to stop those accidents.
So it's basically like the reasoning behind it. All right, so we're going to go through some fallacies. And a fallacy is a deceptive, misleading argument, one in which the conclusion is not well supported by the premise. And then there's that example again. So we're going to go through fallacies and different types of fallacies. And we're just going to go through 10 of them. And then there are a lot more. So the first one is appeal to popularity. This is the one that maybe you've seen a lot of. So it's arguing that a premise is true because a majority of the people accept it. Basic idea, many people believe P is true, therefore P is true. We can look at Ford. Ford makes the best automobile in America. After all, more people drive Fords, especially in Texas, than any other American car, so it must be the best. Apple users, I don't know, there's something about Apple people that say this a lot more. Apple is better because a lot of users have it. Here's one that I've definitely heard. Everyone puts cereal before milk. It is the right way to do it. And then we also have a link below that you can watch another YouTube video of appeal to popularity, an example that we thought of.
Yeah, essentially appeal to popularity is just the peer pressure argument. It's everybody thinks this, so you should too.
All right, false cause, an argument that attributes a cause and effect relationship where none is proven to exist. A came before B, therefore A caused B. If you get married, you will be happier. So A caused B. Drinking Red Bull gives you wings. If you drink Pepsi, you'll dance like Michael Jackson. This is the old Pepsi ad, so I included the YouTube video. And there's another YouTube video just for fun.
Yeah, so make sure after you go through these notes, you go back and watch these YouTube videos because they kind of let you see these fallacies in an actual setting out in the real world.
Yeah. Appeal to ignorance, an argument in which ignorance about the truth of a proposition is used to conclude that the opposite is true. Basic idea, there's no proof that P is true, so P must be false. So an example, we found no proof that the senator committed the crime, so he must be innocent of committing the crime. So keep in mind, you know how we say innocent until proven guilty? Well, just because they didn't have any evidence of it doesn't necessarily mean that they're innocent. It just means they just didn't find enough proof. Since no one in class has any questions, then they must be ready for the exam.
I'm definitely guilty of that one all the time.
I think I said this in class a few times. No one has proved that God exists, so he must not exist. So whenever you're doing appeal to ignorance, just because there's no proof doesn't mean that it's necessarily false.
Yeah, it's essentially just shifting the blame to the other side. Just, well, you haven't found enough evidence, so I must be correct.
All right, you want to take over the next ones?
Yeah, so hasty generalization. So an argument in which a conclusion is drawn from an inadequate number of cases. So the basic idea is A and B are linked one or a few times, therefore A causes B or B causes A. So for example, if I had a Ford that was a terrible car and said all Fords are lousy cars, then that's a hasty generalization because I had one Ford that was terrible, and so I said all Fords are terrible. And then there's another YouTube link that's anything hatched from an egg must be a bird.
It's The Simpsons.
All right, next one, limited choice or false dichotomy. Forcing a conclusion by artificially limiting the available options, often to two choices. So, for example, if you want better public schools, we need to increase taxes. Well, there's plenty of other things you could do to make schools better. It doesn't have to be just limited to increasing taxes or not, but they're only giving you the choice of increasing taxes or not. They're ignoring everything else that could make schools better. And there's also another YouTube link there as well.
All right, appeal to emotion. So this is where they kind of get you in the feels. In an argument, an appeal to the emotions in a place of reason to gain acceptance of its conclusion. Basic idea, P is associated with an emotional response. Therefore, P is true. So in a commercial for Michelin tires, a picture of a baby is shown with a caption, "Because so much is riding on your tires." Of course, it's going to pull at your heartstrings. It's a cute little baby sitting in front of a tire, and you want the best tires for your kids. You don't want anything to happen. So you go and get those tires. I mean, they could be showing pictures of dogs or videos of people who are sick or whatever the case may be, just to pull at your emotions.
Yeah, a lot of commercials are guilty of that one. They always want to make you feel something, that way you buy their product.
Yep. I think during the Super Bowl one year, there was a Google ad, like the Google thing, like remember this. I think I attached the YouTube link. All right, personal attack. An argument in which one attacks the character or circumstances of an individual instead of trying to disprove the soundness of his argument. So an example, how can you tell me not to use drugs? You tried them when you were a teenager. So some point, maybe not you, but some kids growing up may have used this on an authority figure. How can you tell me not to do it? You did it. You can definitely see this during election time. A lot, actually.
Watch any debate ever.
Yes. Or even in the last 12 years, definitely, you'll definitely see some attacks here and there. All right. So personal attack, really, if it's whether it's an argument with a significant other or a friend, maybe a colleague, like calling them an idiot. If you watch The Office, you'll hear Dwight say idiot. Um, you're not really proving anything. You're just trying to call them names. You're attacking their person, just really attacking them. All right. Circular reasoning, an argument in which the premise and conclusion are essentially the same. You can't give me a C because I'm an A student.
So the circular reasoning part comes because if you're an A student, then you wouldn't be getting a C. If you're getting a C, it means you're not an A student. So they kind of contradict each other. That's where the circular reasoning comes in.
All right. Do you want to say the last two?
Yeah, so diversion or red herring, an argument in which one attempts to divert attention from the real issue by introducing another issue. So, for example, I know I forgot to make my bed this morning, but nothing I do pleases you. All right. So it's trying to just divert attention away from making your bed by saying nothing I do pleases you. It's drawing attention to a different issue to make you forget the first issue.
Yep.
All right.
So we're going to evaluate media sources. So 5 things to consider, and I just need to find the notes that I put them in.
Wait, there's one last fallacy.
Oh, darn it. Okay, go ahead.
So the last fallacy is straw man. So it's an argument based on a distortion of someone's words or beliefs. So, for example, people who don't support raising the minimum wage to $15 per hour hate poor people. All right. So, if you don't support raising minimum wage, you could have a lot of different reasons for that. You could have, actually, I don't know the reason you would have, but you could have your different reasons. It doesn't mean that you hate the poor, but that's what the straw man is it's twisting people's words around to make them seem like the bad guy for supporting or not supporting a certain thing.
Okay. So the very last piece. So you want to consider the source, check the date. Like, it's very important that you check the date of whatever you're reading, whether it be an article or something in the paper, the news, and whatever you're watching. Validate its accuracy. So also make sure that you're picking a credible source. Check other sites, check other media, other things to validate whatever it is that you're reading or seeing.
Yeah, just because one site says something doesn't mean that it's fact. You usually want to go through more sites, make sure that they say the same thing.
Watch for hidden agendas. So you can definitely see this in commercials, in the news sometimes, that people have different agendas. They pick a side and then they're kind of biased towards that. So they say the story in a certain way. And then don't miss the big picture. Any lasting comments?
I think that's it. Just the whole point of these fallacies is just for you to know when somebody is not using the correct logic. So these are just 10 examples, and there are more, but these are 10 different fallacies that you can just kind of point out and be like, well, that logic doesn't hold up because you're using circular reasoning, for example. It's kind of like these are things that would not hold up in court, for example.
And there's way more fallacies. We just did 10 of them.
Yeah, there's way more than we could actually list off for you. So,
yeah. All right. Bye.
bye, guys.